How's it going, everyone? Thank you for stopping by, checking out Shop Talk Live. My name is Rick Ramirez, also known as Rick's 2 Cents, along with my fellow co-host Steve from Steve Makes Everything.
Howdy, y'all.
Let us know where you're checking in from, as always. And if you have any questions, let us know. Let's see here. Tim said, first as I have no life.
He's first because he's got no life.
Oh, no, Tim, that means that you're dedicated, brother. That's all that means. Thank you for joining. Right before we went live, so just so everyone aware that, yes, this is Shop Talk Live. Yes, we're here to answer any questions, but we don't have like awkward, dull, quiet moments when people aren't asking questions. So we bring up topics of discussion, sometimes on topic, sometimes off topic. But I think as our technology is progressing, more and more AI-related things are becoming a thing, right? And I was telling Steve that all the new Fords, they're going to come with AI capability of detecting if you're under the influence. And if you're under the influence, that it will not allow you to take the vehicle from park to drive. And if you're driving too recklessly, that it'll automatically notify the police. And I'm like, I don't think I'd ever buy a Ford.
Yeah, well, it's only a matter of time. If they do it, everyone else is going to do it, right?
I could see Teslas. And I only say Teslas because they're self-driving. If a car is self-driving, even though you're not driving, you're supposed to be not sleeping, right? Or impaired, right? You're still technically responsible for the vehicle somewhat, right? You're still the captain of the ship, so to speak.
Yeah. I don't have full self-driving on my Tesla. It's just not an option I would be willing to pay for. For one reason only. I know it's software, and I spent my life watching people write software. I don't want them running my car.
Yeah, you know, surprisingly, I take the highway every day to work. Surprisingly enough, recently, and only recently, I've seen a lot of Teslas smashed into walls. Like the boulders in between the barrier wall in between the highway. And I'm like, how did that happen? You'll see the whole side of the car smashed out. There's no other cars. I don't know.
They're actually I don't know if you saw iRobot where like the robot has to make a decision between saving Will Smith or saving some kid, and he saves Will Smith because the kid has a better chance of dying. That's the decisions these things make, right? And like if it sees something, it could swerve, but if there's somebody there, it's not going to take out another car. It's going to say, sorry, right? It's a sacrificial thing. It's, this is the problem with software, right? It doesn't make judgment calls. It follows rules.
Yeah, calculated decisions.
And but I mean, I spent, I don't know, a good part of my career writing software to control nuclear reactors. And we spent 10 years testing it before it goes live. Like every possible scenario you can think of. And within 4 months of the last reactor I worked on going live, we found a bug in the software, and it dumped a hot fuel rod on the floor in the fuel room.
That's crazy. Yeah,
and it was basically the two PLCs that run the plant agreed on doing the same stupid thing.
Crazy. Mark said, "Good evening, all. Hello. I like it. Heat stroke."
Hey, Jim. Jim says, good evening from Chicago.
Gary said, hello from Waverland, Iowa. Hello, Gary. Thank you for checking in. Yeah. How are you liking that saw stop?
I love it.
So
not only do I love it because, hey, I'm probably going to die with 10 fingers. I love it because it's actually a really nice saw. I was using it the other day for something, and it's like, man, I like this saw. So I was making a little cabinet for my metal fab to put all these little pieces in, so I could roll it around.
Yeah, I was just looking at Skylar Short, and she's on like more than one blade already from it automatically stopping. And to the point, she's still keeping that DeWalt table saw to do certain cuts because there's nothing wrong, and it's actually making the assumption and breaking the blade. You haven't had that experience yet?
No.
Hmm.
Now, I mean,
Yeah.
there's a couple of things, right? So depends. So my shop is pretty dry, like drier than it should be in the wintertime for sure. And even in the summer, because I run my heat pump on kind of dry mode and keep it in. But the humidity in there is usually around, I don't know, 40% in the winter and maybe 45 in the summer.
Oh, wow.
So I don't ever have like wet wood, for example, right? And now, I mean, there's things I wouldn't do, like I wouldn't cut a piece of scrap wood thinking maybe there's nails in it. I wouldn't do that.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I've never had a problem.
Is it a special blade, or is it just any blade you can put in it?
So you can put most blades in. They have to be conductive. So, like Diablo has some blades that are painted on both sides, and they go right to the spindle, so the conductivity is maybe a bit dodgy. There's a few blades that you can't use.
Can you use a Diablo blade?
You can, but there's certain models you can't. I think Diablo, and there's another one where they have certain models of blades where they'll still work. They just won't necessarily recognize when you've stuck your finger in there, right? Like it's not that it'll refuse.
Kind of the reason why I spent all the money to begin with. Yeah.
Yeah. And then you use this really nice blade that is going to cut your finger off.
I don't think I was ever brand specific as far as blades, and I used a Diablo blade and I never went back. Like that's much of a difference.
Well, right now I have a saw stop blade in there, but
right.
I think their blades are probably made by Diablo. I don't know, because they seem very similar, except they don't have all the red paint on them.
Radu said, "Good evening, hello, hello." All right, so Radu said, "I hope all AI will also detect phones unless emergency." Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Like, I knowingly use AI like all day, like, and at work, and then when I come home, I use it. Like, AI is very integrated into my life, and could be kind of scary to start thinking.
Yeah, that's not a problem. The problem is when you unknowingly use AI, right?
Right.
Like it's everywhere. Now, having said that, so I thought I'm getting an echo. So I thought Nano Banana was like the best image generator, and it was for about 2 minutes. And now ChatGPT introduced a new one this past week. And if you go in, like if you're using ChatGPT, you can say, create me an image of something. The images it creates they fixed a lot of problems. So ChatGPT or Nano Banana still created the odd person with 5 or 6 with 6 or 7 fingers, or sometimes text was messed up in the background of images. With the new ChatGPT image generator, rock solid. Like and they've added like proper texture to people's skin so they don't all look like mannequins. They've done some real work, which I guess is good because AI is still improving, but maybe that's bad because AI is improving.
Hence our new thumbnail, by the way.
Is it AI generated?
Yes.
How come you still have the same ugly old me then?
Yeah, I took the old thumbnail and I said, refresh this and remove Roger and Skylar and put us, and I want to see what it'd come up with. It kind of changed the text around and my original design. I thought it looked cool.
Did you tell it to make sure that it looks like a highly clickable thumbnail?
I have a thread that's all it's used for.
Yeah.
It's for optimized thumbnails for YouTube.
Yeah. I generate all my thumbnails in Kittle. Now, there's a lot of AI I use in there too, but I do it there because it supports, 15 or 20 image generators, and I can just fire the same query at all of them and take the best image, right?
Oh wow! So, I get it'll actually create 15 separate images, and then you choose it from them.
Well, you could, but like if you have a query and you're trying to use some image generator and you can't get the image you want, you can just one click and you can pick a different image generator.
So do you pay for
Fire
that?
the same query at it, which is nice.
Is it free or do you have to pay for that?
Most of the AI stuff, I think, is in their paid plan. I mean, I'm on a pro plan, so I don't know what's in the free one. I'd have to actually log in as an anonymous user to try it. And I'm going to actually do a video probably in the next couple of weeks, because they've added a new thing that'll help people who do like sales, right? And you want to create a video for some product. You could do that yourself, and I did a video. The last video I did on Kittle stuff was actually that, creating product videos with AI. But now they actually have templates for this, where you can say, this is going to Etsy. So create a product. You basically give it a single image of the thing, and it will generate a product video that's focused solely at Etsy. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I've seen a whole slew of advertising on Facebook. They're definitely must have put in some Facebook ad and marketplace, advertisement.
Yeah,
it's up a lot of your feet.
I was actually worried about them in the early days, because it was like, Canva has so many things that it does, and these guys do a couple of things really well, right? Canva does 50 things okay, but they've really focused on some real key areas. And I mean, I got involved with them because previous to people like me talking to them, they were making a lot of, their whole aura was around making t-shirt designs. And I said, well, I don't make t-shirts. I'm a maker. Like, I make stuff in my shop, right? And they went, oh, we don't know how to do that, so tell us. And they've added a lot of features like node editing, for example, on vectors, which they didn't have before. And it was all in part, I mean, I won't take sole credit for it, because I know they're now involved in with a couple of makers. But we've kind of been feeding them with, here's the brainwaves that makers use that are very different than the type that people who make t-shirts use, right? So it's become, over time, for me, it's become a whole lot more useful, both for thumbnails, like YouTube video stuff, but also things in my shop, right? I do all the designs. You got collaboration stuff in there. So if I was working on a design for you, if you were a customer, I could share it with you, and in real time we could kind of collaborate on it. And so yeah, there's some neat things in there.
No, Canva is awesome. I was affiliate for them for a while too, and then one day it was like, there's no affiliates, right? They just like took that away. That was weird.
Yeah, they approached me a couple of years ago and said, hey, we'll pay you an ungodly amount of money to do a video. And it's like, well, I don't want to get paid, for one thing. And then I tried it and went, yeah, okay, it's Canva. It works all right.
I think Canva is amazing and great for anyone who's not,
there's certain things
good at Photoshop, Illustrator, or doesn't want to pay the license, because you can really do some of those features at extreme difference in cost.
Now as far as the like image editing stuff, you get the same kinds of capabilities in Kittle, but what you don't get in Kittle is things like, if I want to build a business plan, right, or a product plan or something, where I want a bunch of slides, right, that get created. I can't really do that in Kittle, not that easily. Now they've added some things like branding, so you can define a color scheme, and then you can load an image in, and you can say, apply my brand to this,
right,
and it'll put your color scheme on things. So there's some more business focused things, whereas Kittle I look at as, it's not really hobby, but it's more the side hustle kind of person.
Yeah, give me one second. I'm gonna go turn off my dehumidifiers in the background real quick. Hold on.
I'll read the next question. Well, it's not a question, actually. It's Trade Skillers Anonymous saying, good evening, all. Hope you're doing amazing. Amazing. I'm not amazed. The weather here has been just so hit and miss. It's like it's almost the end of April, and it's still cold at times.
Yeah,
like everything is a month. Like my daffodils are just getting flowers on them now, and that's like a month late.
Yeah.
Stupid weather.
Tony said, "Hey guys, hello from Cleveland, Ohio. Hey Tony, thank you for checking in. If anyone has any questions, let us know. Let us know. Prism Print, new name. As this first time you're joining, I don't remember. Hello. Thank you for joining the live. Let us know if you have any questions.
Prism Print sounds like a UV printer company or something.
UV, DTF. That's what it sounds like to me.
So speaking of UV printers, I mean, the Eufy Make is out there, and everybody has one now. But my argument both to Eufy Make and just to the world was there's going to be all kinds of competition. 2026 is going to be like the hobby UV printer market year.
Yeah.
Right? And right now, I think I have sometime before the end of the year, I will have 4 different UV printers to review.
That's cool.
So ranging from things kind of like hobby printers like the Eufy Make up to big scale stuff. So
right.
It's just interesting how everybody's kind of latched onto that market now. It's the next gold rush, right? This is how everybody works. You can't sell a $500 open frame laser anymore. So now let's go make UV printers.
Mark said, Big Brother is here and his name is Ford. Absolutely. That's what I'm saying. I think that's crazy. When you read their patents, it actually says that it could assist police officers. That's literally written in their patent. So
they're going to put a breathalyzer on the steering wheel of every Ford. So
it monitors your eyes. And it monitors your movement when you're driving. So if you're like appear impaired, your eyes will make it not even go and drive. And if you appear impaired from your driving habits, it'll notify the police.
Yeah, the challenge they're going to run into is the first time this thing gets it wrong. Like, hey, I'm not drunk, right? I just have a wild eye, right? Like mad eye.
I got a lazy eye.
There's going to be all kinds of lawsuits, right? And eventually they'll make it so that you can manually turn it on or off.
Right. Yeah, that's just crazy to me. I would not buy it. There's just absolutely no way. I have a CDL, so it's not like that I'm doing some heavy drinking and driving, but I think that's an invasion of my privacy.
Oh yeah, for sure. And like I said, like I told you before I went live, I don't think this would be allowed in Canada.
In Canada. Yeah, the United States is kind of weird. I think the only states that are crazy like that would basically say like no, is Texas and California. They're like
the free thinkers.
They don't follow our rules. They make their own. They're like, no, I don't care what you said. That ain't happening here. Blue Turtle Studios said, hey, y'all. Barry from Blue Turtle Studios. Thank you for dropping in.
I think that's a new name, too.
Yeah, let us know if you have any questions. Again, this is live questions, answers, 3D printing, CNCs, makers, any kind of maker questions, tool related, even influence related or business related. If you guys have any questions, let us know. That's what we're here for. The video is not scripted, so it's kind of just in the wild, wild west, so to speak. The live takes a life of its own, so let us know. Kevin said, hey, everyone, and I don't even know how to say this. Alpena, Michigan this week. The Traveling Man. Puts that oldie song, I'm the Wanderer.
Is he like Kevin, are you like a trucker or something? Because you're in a different place every week. I think
he did say that at one point. Kevin, what do you do for a living? You drive a truck, right? If I remember correctly. Because you
and then the follow-up question to that is, if you are a trucker, how do you get a laser in there?
But to the point too is a lot of people always ask us who are new to the live. They say, hey, Rick or Steve, why do you guys read the comments? We can see the comments as well. Well, there's a couple different reasons. We use a software called StreamYard, which pulls all of our social media into one feed. So if you're on a different social media, like one's on YouTube, one's on Facebook, you won't see each other's. And the other thing is not everyone has the ability to watch. Some are just listening. And then if and when, because of a comment, they jump, online and chime in, so to speak. So if you're wondering why we do that, that is why.
Blue Turtle Studios says he's in the deep south. Did you say south? That's my best American accent. About 30 minutes from Savannah, Georgia. That's nice. That's a nice area. Hot in the summer, though.
I was going to say, he's probably got some beautiful weather already, as we were talking about crappy weather.
Yeah.
Well, appreciate you dropping in and checking out the live. Let us know if you have any questions.
Jim has a question. He says he just finished engraving 36 coffee cups for a restaurant. How long will the black in an engrave stay around? So you're doing painting on glass, right? And or how are you doing it? Why is there black? If you're using your UV laser or your CO2, I guess if it's black, probably your CO2.
I would say this: if it's used for a house, it's probably going to last pretty decent time. But a restaurant, the problem with a restaurant is they have industrial dishwashers with super hot water.
Yeah,
I'd be skeptical on how long it would last.
Yeah, because they want to sterilize everything, right?
Right. So they might be steaming it and using like super hot water. So you almost couldn't guarantee it, right?
Yeah, it's.
But you know what I'm also
so Jim, I don't know if this is a follow up to me saying you should just do a little deeper engrave and then paint fill it. If it's acrylic paint, it's probably going to be good for a while.
What about that spray paint that's like the glaze that people put on like when they fire something? I wonder if you could seal it with that. Because it's clear. I don't know how that'd work out.
Well, I mean, they use it. Well, the thing is, I think that stuff has to be heated after, right? Like they use it on pottery, but then they heat the thing to like 5,000 degrees, right?
Yeah, you'd have to throw it in the oven. But you know what? I also
it's a drinking glass. A drinking glass can't take that kind of heat.
Yeah, what I have seen a lot of people do with the laser engraving, doing that is they've been going to Harbor Freight and getting the powder coat and laser engraving the powder coat.
Yeah.
And that might last a lot longer than
yeah, it takes a long time.
Oh yeah, of course. It's gonna be labor.
And the problem with powder coat is, and I mean I did a video, it's actually one of my more popular videos. You need to engrave deep enough that the powder coat can grip onto the sides of the engraving.
You're kind of creating the grittiness for it to grab onto, right?
Yeah. Otherwise, it'll chip out. And
I'm just skeptical in any type of restaurants that it would last at all, no matter how well of a job you did, based on industrial cleaning.
Yeah. It's safe to say you don't have a dishwasher that generates enough heat to test it.
Yeah,
you'd have to put it in a kiln or something and dip it and like put it in water and put it in a kiln and boil the crap out of it.
You want to take it, Steve?
Trade Skillers Anonymous says he's had a saw stop for about 7 years, never had a brake activation, and I'm right. Hey, he's clearly not my wife. It's a very well built saw, regardless of the safety technology. Yeah, I mean this thing is just a nice tool.
The only thing that I was kind of hating on them, so to speak, was that I didn't want them to become the norm. And what I mean by that is that, like, hey, if you have the bread to be able to buy that, all the power to you. I'm not saying you shouldn't, right? And I'm sure besides the safety features, a saw at that level of price, it's got to be a nice cutting saw, right? But what I'm saying is I didn't want the government to go, this is something that was going to be required going forward. And standard DeWalt table saw all of a sudden becomes $3,000. That was my only concern.
I thought the U.S. government had passed a law to make sure this happened. No,
never happened. Nope. They were talking about it, and that's why I was saying that was my only disgruntled comment.
See, conceptually, though, there's nothing there that should make this super expensive, right? The saw is a saw blade. The little mechanism that fires to drop the saw is basically a CO2 cartridge that's triggered by contact with metal, like skin or something with a sufficient ground capacity. And then you need something, a big spring to pull the blade down quick. So there's nothing there that should really be that expensive.
Yeah. But a good comment to say is should and are two different things, right?
Well, sure. I mean, SawStuff can do it right now because they have patents on it, and no one else can build one, which makes them the
when they
big
expire
man on campus, right? And
right.
So they can charge what they want. And it's a great marketing ploy too, right? It's like, yeah, you could pay less and you can lose a finger, right? So you're going to look at that and go, that's not good. That's got to hurt. So you spend the extra money and you buy a SawStuff.
Yeah. Tim says, gonna miss Roger. Yeah, Roger's no longer on Shop Talk Live. We may possibly in the future, but he's taking a break. Jack in the shop said, ChatGPT has been doing well on all my products, photos, thumbnails for a while. I love it.
Yeah, it hasn't been doing my photos because I didn't, up until recently, I didn't like ChatGPT's photo generation, and it took forever. It was very slow. Like Nano Banana, you can generate a 4K image in like 40 seconds.
Yeah, so that was the big reason why I went from free to paid, because when I was using the free account, as it started to become more and more popular, it was just taking too long, and sometimes even timing out. Now I have the higher tier, and
it's still their image generation still takes longer than Google's does, but now it at least generates better images.
Well, not even the image, the text was even doing that, timing out, or I'd take 2-3 minutes just to do just text, and that was the free version.
That's the free plan though, right?
Right.
Yeah.
You weren't priority, right? Because you're a non-paid version.
Yeah,
Customer.
Yeah, I paid for ChatGPT for a couple of years. So,
Glomatic Bikes. I think this is a new name. Hello. Thank you for joining. Said hit that like, y'all.
Glomatic Bikes sounds cool.
Yeah. So I'm guessing e-bike. That's my guess. I had enough. I like this your handle. Had enough, okay. Thank you for stopping in.
I'm sure I've used that handle in meetings when I worked in the real world. I've had enough, okay.
Yeah. Santa's Lady Graydon said, well, that's new. Right after I said hello, the plastic of my computer fell off and left the metal connector in the computer. Now I'm back. What did I miss?
First of all, never underestimate our reach. You didn't miss that. You didn't miss that.
Those are not aware, I made Santa's Labels Engraving, as well as another one of our loyal fans, an admin of our Facebook group. I'm as much as I love posting my own content, and I encourage Steve and Roger and Skylar and even Andy to post, I don't want to seem like that, like we're just spamming our stuff. But to be honest with you, most of the reasons that I post something is because I want to encourage others to start posting. Like you post something, and all of a sudden 3 more people post, right? And that's kind of how it is. Causes a domino effect. So I added some admins to our Facebook group to kind of keep it going, keep the momentum going. So
yeah, as stated, I'm the worst social media person on the planet. So although I think I posted something this week or last week, probably something on the metal fab.
You're up, Steve.
Tim says the AI module in Kittle is under AI Hub. That's a question. It used to be, but now AI is just kind of pervasive in all of Kittle. Like pretty much anywhere you can say generate an image. Like if you create an artboard, which is like a canvas, from there you can start with an image, or you can derive something from your artboard and create a new thing, and AI will be there. So it's just kind of everywhere.
Yeah, it's crazy. Just we were talking about AI. I literally just bought a new dryer. It has AI in the dryer.
Why?
You literally turn the dryer on, and it says optimizing, it weighs the clothes, it detects what kind of fabric it is, and on the fly, it can completely adjust the drying so that it won't shrink your clothes, fade your clothes, and it doesn't over dry them. It's just wild.
It's so. I mean, I spent my entire life in technology, so you know, I learned to ask why a lot, and I get it, right? But it's like, why? Like, this is, you know, I have the same question with those refrigerators with like the big screen on them.
Right.
It's like, what? So I can put a shopping list there, or I can stick a piece of paper and put a pen there and just do it, right? Like, I don't need to spend an extra $2,000 for a big display on the side of my fridge.
Yeah.
I don't know. You know, like I've always said, you know, just because we can build a computerized toaster doesn't mean we should. Toast is as good as it's going to get.
Didn't we grow up watching the Jetsons? Are we just living our childhood fantasies? I still want the robot that cleans for me. That's what I want.
Hey, they're coming, man. So I was reading this article, and I forget the name of the company. There's a company in China that's now making 10,000 robots a month, like humanoid type robots.
Did you see too that they'll pay you $200,000 to allow them to permanently use your face? 200,000.
That's scary. Like, that's scary in a lot of ways.
Yeah, I told my wife, I said, I don't know. I think I'll sell my face for $200,000.
Yeah. So I mean, you know, you're on YouTube, so you get emails all the time about, you know, can you test this thing for us? And I got one for one of these robot dogs. I don't know, 6 months ago, and I looked at it and went, yeah, this is awesome. And I said to my wife, hey, I can get this robot dog, and she said no. It wasn't like, let me think about it. It was no. I said, but it's great. It can patrol the perimeter of the property and, you know, tell people to get off your lawn. Like, it's going to be great. No.
That was the end of that, huh?
Yeah, I was very disappointed. You know, it's like I could put like a flamethrower on the back of this thing. And it's like, you know, there's just so many awesome things you could do. No.
Oh. Yeah, Santa's Living Green said a plastic USB-C connector is what I should have said. Yeah, they when they get hot, they get bad. That's what, you know, the thing is that it's like one of those things that, like, years ago, like your charger for your cell phone just lasted the length of your phone. And now why do cell phone chargers need to be replaced like every 2 months? I don't know, like they just don't last.
Well, it's because they try and charge a cell phone in 5 minutes, right?
Yeah, 60 watts.
Yeah, and I mean, they're like USB-C. Well, USB in general is a specification, and one of the things in the specification is the amount of current draw you can have through the cable and through the connectors,
right.
And it's like 2.5 amps, which is already high considering how fragile those connectors are. But
right.
You know that there's companies pushing a lot more current through them than that, and hoping that you have the right cable, right? X2 is coming out, says James. Are they gay? Not that there's anything wrong with that. They're coming out with a couple of things. I actually have a new thing sitting on my workbench that I can't talk about yet, but I will in a couple of weeks. Yeah, they're doing some good stuff. And the UV printer, they said, was Q2, which we're in now. Nice. So figure June.
Very cool. Kevin said, I'm not drunk. My allergies are acting up. That's exactly what Steve said. Steve said, like, yeah. What if you had a disability, like a lazy eye or something, and they called the cops on you? Like, yeah, or what if you had the flu, you know?
And the thing is, like it would do, like if you had some kind of physical disability that was triggering this thing, it would call the cops every time you got in your car, and eventually the cops would call Ford and say, turn this thing off, right? We don't have a budget for this. So, I mean, it's going to happen. They're going to push it, and there's going to be pushback. And
so the only way that I could see it making sense is fleet vehicles, right?
Yes.
Like if you said, hey, this is on a public bus, or this is on a company-owned vehicle, you know, and you chose to have that on, and you tell your employer, hey, you can have this vehicle, you can use it for work and personal, but be aware, It's going to be monitored, you know, and that's common. Like every company vehicle I've ever had has been GPS controlled. And that's why they have these GPS tracked. We've always had stickers on the back of our truck that says this vehicle won't go over 65 miles an hour. So people don't ride your butt on the tollway. Like, go around me, dude. Like, I'm GPS tracked. If I'll get in trouble if I go over 65. Yeah. So
if you get to your next destination too quickly, you'll be in trouble.
You know, just like 65. Here we go.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm so on the fence with technology trying to manage me.
So James said, must be a California thing. I was telling Steve, Texas and California are like their own country within our country, right? Like they don't care what you tell them. They're like, nah, that ain't gonna happen. You know, like
in California, you'd be driving down the freeway and you'd see that little box that controls this stuff laying out on the road, right? All over the place.
Yeah, every kind of warning it says, you know, can cause cancer, not available in California, like from like a pop. I mean, anything you can imagine, right?
Yeah. I mean, I can almost guarantee in a place like California, if you had one of these and it was annoying you, the next time you took it into the shop, you know, the mechanic could say, well, you know, I can take care of this for you, right? And they could turn it off. I mean, at the end of the day, the thing is on a fuse, right? Pull the fuse.
Yeah. So Prison Prince said, this is all. Okay, so they had said they were going to join last week with a different name, and could we guess it was them? So here you go. Prison Prince, this is all best marketing.
There we marketing, go. Yes.
Under my new business name, and yes, I'll do typing of embroidery, printing, screen printing, DTF, DTG, stationery printing, engraving, etc. Nice one, nice one.
Nice.
And to all those who sent me artwork for the stickers, man, as everyone was making fun of me, I had quite a honey-do list last weekend, but this weekend I am doing some printing. So if you sent me, you'll be getting some emails from me and some stuff in the mail. Cool name. Prism Print. I like that. Yeah,
it already sounds like a printer company. Right?
Yeah, exactly. You're not guessing what you do. James said everything begins in California. Yeah. You want to take some, Steve?
John Doe, the mysterious John Doe. That's what people said about a lot of things. California is the worst at making rules. Yeah, because there's too many weed smokers there. California needs to go back to the dark ages with the rules they're putting in additive, subtractive manufacturing. Yeah, so there are lots of, I don't know what's going on in your country, man. They're passing all these rules that like are basically going to make it impossible to run a 3D printer in a lot of states.
Yes.
And I mean, they keep saying, but there's a solution for this, except that the solutions they're suggesting are impossible. Like the technology doesn't exist to implement their you know, license, we'll say, of a 3D printer. Like, I don't know.
So my bamboo lab
I don't think they would be allowed to do this in Canada. I mean, we have general rules. Don't print 3D guns, right? And if you do, you're going to jail, right?
Yeah. Yeah, so my bamboo lab today said firmware updates available on all. And I was like, oh. I was nervous. Like, do I want to do this? Am I gonna turn it on? All of a sudden, it's not gonna be able to
have to take a firmware update.
Yeah. I was like, okay. John,
yeah.
You know, I don't recognize your name. Are you new to the live? If you are, thank you for joining. Let us know where you're joining from. Appreciate you.
Don't recognize it because he's John Doe. He's anonymous.
And if you are not,
I took this software update on my H2D. I haven't done it on the H2C yet. And they changed the clog detection because they were trying to use the camera before and it wasn't working very well. So now what they do is they print a little purge tower in the back on the back of the workspace. And I guess if they hit it or something, or don't hit it when they should, it assumes there's a clog. So it seems like a bit of a Band-Aid solution, but I turned it on. And they tell you when you first start up the new upgraded Bamboo Studio to support all of this stuff, the very first thing it does is pops up a warning and says, hey, this printer used to do it this way, and now it doesn't support that anymore. So we recommend you turn this on. Otherwise, you don't have any clog detection. So
I wonder if that's a part of the update I just did. I haven't used it since.
hey, there's Skylar.
Skylar said, "Hello, Rick and Steve." Hello.
Hey,
Thank you for
Skylar.
dropping in, Skylar. She must have been in the library because I see lower on she's answering about why her saw stop hit. So, Steve, you want to take this?
James Weller. That sounds like another new name too. Steve, when you figure out that one, I want to know. I'm on the road 2 to 3 weeks at a time. Wow. Oh yeah, to put a laser in your truck. Yeah. There's got to be like some flip down thing you can put in the back of a truck cab to like, have your 3D printer printing while you're driving or something.
Well, if you had like a longer Nano Pro or the Pixie, you could probably definitely do some coasters on the road.
Yeah, just out in the parking lot while you're at a truck stop. Oh, here we go. Kevin fesses up. He's not a trucker. He trains hospital staff. Well, there's a laudable career right there. On cardiac procedures, cath and electrophysiology labs. Cool. He's like almost like a brain surgeon. The plumbing and electrical parts of the heart. Oh no, he's a heart surgeon. Cool.
I was sitting next to someone on the plane flying out east, and they did the same thing, saying they basically live on a plane. They literally travel. So
maybe
very cool, Kevin.
Maybe you've met
a first responder in some sense, right?
Yeah, kind of.
All right, here you go. Skylar said, "My saw triggered because I touched the blade with my metal miter gauge."
That's probably a good reason to stop it, though. You get the miter gauge catching a tooth, and it's going to make a mess, right?
Yeah. TTC 1940 said CO2 using.
Yeah, so this is Jim. He's saying he's using CO2, his CO2 laser with titanium dioxide cutting through the glaze. Oh, this is okay.
I was engraving it to begin with.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you shouldn't. Does titanium dioxide work with a CO2 laser? I guess it must, because he's talking about it being black.
Yeah, I wasn't saying that there's one preference over another that was going to work better. I was just saying as a whole that I didn't think no matter what method you used, because it's a restaurant environment, that how they're cleaning those, the likelihood of it lasting long would be not that well. Not a good shelf life.
I think so. Like even when you're using titanium dioxide with a diode laser on tile, right? It kind of bakes the titanium onto the surface of the tile, but it's not permanent, really, right? You can scrape it off. So I don't know. I guess we'll find out.
Said maybe sublimation might work better. I think they're all going to be the same. That's why I said I don't think one method's going to be better than the other, only because a restaurant's such high scalding hot water or steaming.
Yeah, I don't think, Tim, that would work either. This is why when we were talking today, I asked you to put your tumbler in the dishwasher. Although if you UV print on things that are designed for sublimation, the ink seems to stick a whole lot better.
So it looks like Santa's Lave Engraving was he's saying he was back in the day, he was an EMT. There you go. You never know. So look, he could be Santa and Save Your Life all at the same time.
We have lots of medical staff. My mother was a nurse, so.
You want to take this?
Skylar says, Saw Stop Manual said you should use thin kerf blade because the cartridges may trigger. When the cartridge triggers, might shatter the thin blade and explode. Yeah. So that's probably worse than losing a finger.
That's what I'm saying. In the event that it's saved your finger, it explodes and shoots a blade at your face. Not sure which one's better.
Yeah. Oh, you should not use thin kerf.
That's one of those things like you should not modify this and you should follow the directions. So whatever they're telling you to do, to follow the guidelines of the safety, you should just follow them,
I
right?
don't know. I modify lots of things.
But you're defeating the purpose of the safety if you're not following.
Well,
the
I'm
6
improving it. So, sometimes, control of something gets in the way, right? And the intent was there, but the execution was wrong.
Yeah.
There's a big controversy, which I kind of started actually around Eufy Make Ink expiring, and I had a conversation with them, and I did win a small victory this week. Their engineering team agreed that cartridges that are already in the printer, so they're already in use, won't expire until they're empty, which helps a lot, but it doesn't help the situation where somebody bought a printer and a box of ink that they may or may not use in the next 8 months. And by the time they do need it, it's expired. They're going to be really annoyed.
Yeah.
Because a box of ink with a cleaning cartridge is $300.
Yeah, I think when it comes to inks, colors, as far as DTF, DTG, UV, all that stuff, don't matter so much. It's white that does.
Yeah, and that's what I said to them too. Like, the color should be good for a couple of years on the shelf.
Colors can be expired 2-3 years and you won't even notice a difference. Yeah. But white, 2 months expired, and you're noticing a difference.
Yeah,
I
get that one.
Yeah,
but the color ones, I don't know. They keep saying no, they're going to expire because they'll get the ink will get chunky, and I said I don't think color is going to do that.
Yeah.
Especially if it's in a light sealed cartridge in a sealed package in a cupboard, right? It's like, it's cool, it's dark, it's dry. So it's not gonna, especially the color, but the white ink for sure is going to be a problem.
Yeah. So speaking of, we had a power outage here the other day, and I always preach. Put a surge protector, the UPS, and all your equipment. I got that new printer, and I don't have one up there, right? And the power went back on, and I forgot, because that printer can't ever turn off, right? You know how it does its own maintenance?
Yeah.
So I was like, I turned it on, ran printhead tests, and luckily I was okay, but I'm going to be buying one this weekend. Like, no, that thing has to be powered on all the time. But the reality was, I was trying not to use it for a complete week because I'm getting ready to go to vacation. And I wanted to see how it was going to act up, or I was going to set up some kind of remote access to
it's a
just
DTF
print something
printer?
Randomly. What's that?
This is your DTF printer?
No, this is my my vinyl printer.
Oh,
a roll-in printer. Yeah, but yeah. Already, we said two windmills are standing in a field. People don't know. He's famous for his dad jokes. So here we go. 2 windmills are standing in a field on a wind farm. One says, "What's your favorite kind of music?" The other replies, "I'm a big metal fan." Dun, dun.
Oh.
As a lineman who's done tons and tons of wind farms, that's actually kind of funny.
There's actually a couple of windmills up the road from me. And I was driving by there one day, and you don't really appreciate how big these things are. Like, they look big, but you don't really get scale. And I was driving by there one day, and I see this little dot on top, and it was a guy standing on top of the thing.
Yes.
And it's like, holy cow, that just put this whole thing into perspective, right? Like, this thing's got to be 200 feet tall. Easy.
Yes. So I did a lot of tie-ins on those, and it's insane. When you see the blades coming in, the blades are on a custom-made semi-trailer that actually has no center. It's just wheels on both ends, and they bolt the blade.
They just strap wheels to the back end.
Yeah, they use the blade itself as kind of like the trailer.
Yeah, I've seen them. I've seen them on the road.
Yeah, I was on a site down South Illinois, and they accidentally somehow ordered one extra blade. It was like 6 years later, and that blade's still sitting on the side of the farmer field. Like, they're like, good luck with that.
It's a spare.
Jim said, "Right, Dewey, don't quit your day job." I enjoy his dad jokes. I've been guilty of a few myself. So no day job. So I have more time to think of useless stuff. Yeah, I get a kick out of it. Keep them coming, Radu. Keep them coming. Someone has some really good projects you put out lately.
He's
This time
clearly
of year is
talking
my
about
flower box.
he's clearly talking about Skylar, I think.
This time of year is my flower box heaven. I'll just be selling tons and tons of flower boxes, cedar fence pickets, cedar fence pickets, cedar fence pickets. What about you, Steve? Is there anything you're kind of
Oh, what am I doing right now, project-wise? Well, I'm working for Tim right now, doing a whole bunch of 3D printing and silicone stuff for Eufy Make printers. I have a couple of projects that were waiting for the metal fab because I need to actually do precision cutting on metal. So they're coming up now.
cool?
Both of them have been a year waiting. But I can, and they're really like, it's like a 10-minute job. I was trying to cut, one of them is cutting a bunch of brass, and even 1 millimeter brass, you think 100-watt fiber laser, oh, you got all kinds of power, and you can cut it, but it takes like 10 passes to cut it. And,
wow.
and it gets hot, right? So it starts to warp, and then you got to flatten it out. With the metal fab, it's like I did some this week actually as well, house numbers. A guy wants to put house numbers on. He has a big rock in front of his house at the end of his driveway, and he wants to put some numbers there. So I cut them out, and I mean, they're big, right? Like, it's like you can see it from the road. So it's a fair size thing. It's 6 or 8 inches tall, and it took, I don't know, 40 seconds to cut out 3 of those. Three
Oh,
digits.
wow.
Oh man, this thing
awesome.
screams. Like,
That's
it's
awesome.
pretty amazing.
So the one thing I want to say is that everyone's saying, what projects should you do? No matter what niche you're in, because we always say, make sure you get into a niche. Do not forget, or do not forget to jump on the bandwagon of things. Mother's Day is coming, guys. Make sure you can sell mother-related things. You know, Memorial Day, 4th of July is coming. You know, everyone's kid is graduating high school right now. You know, like, jump on those bandwagons. You know, short shelf life products, but you know, you could sell fast. You know, so you're not going to sell them 2 months from now.
And you take advantage of all those people panicking because they didn't buy anything yet. Oh, you haven't bought your mother a present the day before Mother's Day? Well, the price just doubled on this one.
Yep. So, I mean, yes, those those flower planters. Like, I live on a very busy street. I put them out in front of my house. Trust me, when it's like a day or two before Mother's Day, and they're like, "How much are they?" There's no negotiating in the price.
I do have a customer project that I wasn't expecting. It's for an optronics company, and they want internal engraving in crystal for some optical device they're making, and they want 100 of these things, and it's like, okay, this is almost like a job now. And they want 100 a year for the next couple of years. So it's like, maybe I should sell Tim my UV laser and let him make them. He'd like that, actually.
So TJ Michael said, thoughts on ComMaker Omni X. Looking at getting my first UV laser, or should I look at a different company?
So I'll say I like the ComMaker Omni X, but if I was buying a UV laser, I'd probably buy the X-Tool F2 Ultra UV. Only because it's only 5 watts versus 10 on the Omni X. At least there's a 10-watt option on the Omni X. But everything just is easier on X-Tool's platform.
You're saying, like, because
alignment, settings are all, like, you can find settings for anything in their database. And ComMaker and no other UV company just has that stuff. So I don't know. I mean, you're not going to go wrong with a ComMaker. If it's a budget thing, buy the Omni X. But if you want throughput and ease of use by the X tool.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, you're comparing two huge powerhouses, right? So I don't think you're going to have like a dud, so to speak. Like, no one's going to badmouth you for having one or the other. You know?
No, I mean, and I have both, right? They're both sitting on my workbench. You can see it back there. That green one is the Omni X, and the orange one beside it is the X tool one.
Senators later in grid said, "Dad of the joke by Rad Dewey." See, Rad Dewey. Some people like him.
Yeah, I am unoffended by dad jokes.
Tim said China are building robots as ground drones for the future.
Yeah, they're using them for crowd control, I'm sure.
Yeah. China already has factories with zero lights because it's 100% robot control. And they're like, what do you need lights for? Robots don't need lights.
There's a few dark companies here too, right? IBM had one back in probably the 90s, early 90s. The dark factory was where they assembled all their old PS2 computers. And
that's crazy.
There was like 4 people in the whole factory. Everything else was assembly line and robot automation, like, you know, robots putting chips in things and putting things together. Yeah. So it's not new, but it's getting more efficient, I'd say.
No, we're getting techy here.
What the hell is this?
it's the doctor, EMT, all that. Oh, they're talking about their medical history days.
Order, rinse, and repeat. Wow.
Skylar said, working on X tool, new things too.
Ah, there you go.
Ready to see it.
Probably the same X tool thing I'm working on right now. Tim says, from a cell phone repair tech. Oh, he's a cell phone repair tech. Charge by wireless is the safest way to charge. Yeah, I always charge wirelessly.
Yeah. It's just not beating up your port.
Well, it just seems awkward to actually plug a cable into a phone now, right? It's just,
you know, I've seen a lot of these lasers now. They're coming directly geared towards cell phone repairs. Like you download the actual model of the cell phone. It's built-in templates. Lasers are front, and the screen comes completely off. It like immediately like eliminates the glue, because iPhone's done a fantastic job of making it next to impossible to removing that glass without like a million pieces, right?
Yeah.
And that laser just like obliviates the glue, and it kind of just boop comes right off like nothing. And then also the flip side, you can do the laser engraving the other side because it has the exact template on it. Those lasers are pretty crazy, and they're small.
Yeah,
but you know, little small.
Speaking of small lasers, did you get that Pixie out yet?
No, I will. I'll be doing it this weekend. Man, I in one day, I changed a starter, a water heater, a dishwasher, installed a doorbell, and a doorbell transformer, and ran the lines in 3 different towns. But I went to my cousin's house, my mom's house. I was like, oh my God. My wife's like, it's like I owe people favors, and they all called their favors in the same day. I was like, oh God.
Call in those chips.
Yeah, so I'm good on my word though. Like if I owe you a favor, I'll own up to it. Sandals Engraving said, Kevin, read the whole thing first, and stuttered a little. I retired from the first service 5 years ago, but I'll never forget it. Very cool.
That was Santa. Santa doesn't look like a fireman to me. He's just got he's got to tuck that beard somewhere in a fire, because it's gonna
probably before his beard days, right? He's in his younger days, I would assume. Yeah, I don't think you're going into a big, huge fire with a big, giant, full beard.
Well, for one thing, the oxygen mask wouldn't fit properly.
Prison Prince said, when I saw Tim Sands gonna type Miss Roger, sorry, I thought the worst. But glad to hear he's okay. Yeah, no, he's not. He's not.
He's alive. Roger's fine.
He's just taking a break. Yeah.
He's had a tough couple of months. So. Tim says, "Oh God, sorry, Prism, didn't mean to worry you."
Yeah.
Tim says, "By the way, Steve, there was a big arrest in Toronto for ghost guns today." Yeah, it happens, right? Like, but the thing is, you're not going to stop. All of the legislation around that they're trying to put in place for 3D printers is only going to prevent innocent people from using them.
Great.
People who are going to print ghost guns are going to print them anyway. They're going to find a way.
So my whole thing, and I'll keep saying it until I'm blue in the face, this has never been about guns. That's been a way to get the legislation passed, right? The laws passed. Because you say, I agree that's due to public safety, this is a safety concern, that's probably a good idea. But when they said if you added up all the gun manufacturers in the United States, just the United States, they're like nothing compared to like a Disney, right? As far as the amount of money they make. So once they open that floodgate, then it becomes, hey, you can't print Nike, Adidas, you can't print any brand that's trademarked, right? Because they're going to want their piece of the pie in that too, protection. And at the end of the day, we all know that if you go to a maker's place, you can download anything, and anything, whether it's trademarked or not, right?
Yeah, like you can go to Maker World and download a set of Crocs, right? Now, why you'd want a set of Crocs, I don't know, but you can get them and you can print them.
Yes. So if you've made it this far in the live and you're not already a member of our Facebook group, you have to join. Go to shoptalklive.club. It is not a website. It's just an auto forward, so you don't have this big long URL that automatic, to what our Facebook is. Please do go to it and join it. This is not Steve's Facebook group. This is not my Facebook group. This is Shop Talk Live's Facebook group. The reason that I'm saying that is because we all know that we're influencers, makers, YouTubers, whatever you want to classify yourself. If you are as well, we suggest and highly encourage you to post all your content. You're not stepping on anyone's toes. So
I'm not doing
back to the comments. Yeah, I love seeing all the stuff that everyone posts. It's cool. I haven't seen any of those crazy paintings in a while.
Yeah, Paul's posted a couple of those in the last little while. That was one thing I did reply to, because he did one that was really neat this past, either last week or early, what day is this? Wednesday? Would have been last week. He did some really nice ones.
Yeah, Prism said, "No worries, Tim. There's just been so many deaths in my personal family from people I've known." I know. Me too. Yeah, me too. It's been. They say they die in threes. I've been in that time of year for me as well. Prism said, "I agree with Tim. Sublimation is my experience to work better, but for the reason that ink actually becomes part of the substrate. Plus, I made sublimate things for people after a few months. It still looks good, and I made them. So my only argument was that since it's a restaurant, they're going to have an industrial style dishwasher, probably extreme heats. So I wasn't saying they're normal use or standard.
Like if they were using, like Jim actually sent me a picture of a glass, and he said, "How did they put this on here?" And they used to silk screen it on and then bake it, right? And it was just baked into the glass. And I think that's still a kind of a missing link in certainly UV printing. Now they have things like adhesion promotion, like wipes and stuff, but and they work fairly well. But at the end of the day, if they put this in 200-degree water, it's probably going to peel it off.
No one's hand washing those dishes. They're running through those industrial, washers. So that's all I'm saying. Hey, and you know what? At the end of the day, if they're willing to purchase it and you make them aware, that's on them. Then you got a Roger lick, right? Like his coaches, he's got continuous business because they're going to be stolen. So if they're okay with that, then you got continuous business because it's going to wear off.
Yeah, you need to make sure that people are stealing their glasses. Then you don't have to go through the dishwashing.
Skylar said I have 5 boxes of Eufy ink that are expiring in 10 days. In the
Print.
meantime,
Start printing.
In the meantime, I'm supposed to be doing a video review of the gold leafing. If I don't do it in the next few days, my ink will be expired.
They'll send you more.
Yeah, my experience, Skylar, has been the only ink that's gonna really hurt you is white.
Yeah. So when I did this video and I complained about the ink, like 2 days later I got a box of ink. Because I said, like, I've got boxes of this stuff that's about to expire for no good reason. Like some of it was only 7 months that I had it, and they sent me a new box.
Imperfect Craig said, "Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Thank you for joining." You want to take this, Steve?
No Long Young. That's another new name. I have a P2S and an F2, and I'm wanting to work on photo engraving tiles. What is the best setting for photos and the pitfalls to look for? Neither one of these lasers will be particularly good for tile, although you can use the diode laser in the F2 to do it. There's not a lot of pitfalls, but watch a few videos. I know I've done one. Roger's done probably a dozen of them. There's every maker who has a YouTube channel will eventually do something about engraving on tiles. And use your diode laser, I would say, unless you have a UV laser. Because the P2S won't do it. It'll engrave, but it will take way too long to try and punch through the surface of the tile. The diode laser will bake. If you use titanium dioxide, spread it on the tile and then engrave, it'll bake that onto the surface of the tile. The only laser I've had that I can actually punch through the glaze with on tile, because tile is really hard, is a UV laser. And it took a lot of passes to do it, but passes on a UV laser are generally pretty quick, especially with that stuff. And then I paint filled it. I did a short video on it. If you look in my short videos, you'll see it there.
We say all the time too, is people say, what are your settings, even when you show something? And it's like, the biggest thing is going to be obviously the blanks is going to make a difference. Like on Louisiana Hobby Guy has a huge catalog that you can download that's going to give you some, starting points. But the good thing about LightBurn is whenever you're doing these, first time you've done something, material tests, like you should definitely run a material test and make your own judgment on, what's the best result that you like, right? So I would suggest running that material test and see whatever. But if you're a noob and you want to start doing something and kind of create a library where to start, Louisiana Hobby Guy does have a pretty good library you can download for free. I mean, website you want to check out.
Yeah.
And when it comes to LightBurn, there is no one on YouTube that's going to be Louisiana.
Rich is
right?
That guy. Yeah.
Yeah, he's just that guy. Like, don't even try to make those videos because he already did it. And he's probably, He is the LightBurn guy for sure.
Yeah, it was his channel I went to first when I was learning LightBurn. I mean, it seems like 100 years ago now, but when I started trying to figure out how to do hard things in LightBurn, I went to his site, his YouTube page, and looked at some of his advanced videos.
Definitely check them out, especially for that library.
Tim says, "Come on, Steve. Promote the mats to our viewers."
What's that?
Oh, so I did these at Tim's request, because Tim was complaining about the cost of materials. The surface on a UV printer, it gets crusted up with ink and stuff, and I made some things. Let me share one of these. something wrong with my photo album. Everything's blurry in there now for some reason. I don't know. So I may not be able to show this. Oh, there's one. That's fine. Let me share this. If I can figure out how to do it. What the hell? There we go. So I did these things. So it's a silicone mat, and then there's a bunch of tools around to jigs to fit into the holes, and there's quite a set of these.
What is this for? That's for a laser?
UV printer. This is designed to fit on a UV make workspace. Okay. There's two of them, the small one and the big one, and these are the things that that Tim is selling and I'm making. So because Tim is a much better salesman than I am, and I would rather. So
it's a jig.
Yeah, well, it also, because it's silicone, the ink doesn't stick to it. So when it gets all grimy, you can just you can actually throw these in the washer and wash them. My wife will find one in the laundry at some point, I'm sure.
You better have a garage washer.
I have a hose. I'll just hose it off. Anyway, I've made those, and there's a whole bunch of different jigs for them. So if you want to do a bunch of golf balls or hockey pucks, or I got a couple of other ones coming. So that's what Tim is talking about.
We say all the time, man, jigs suck because they take a long time to create, but they're worth their weight in gold, right? Especially when you're doing mass production, that's going to just make your time so. You don't have to redial the machine in. You've already done the work up front, right?
Yeah. Well, I purposely wanted, and Tim can tell you, I went through about 15 different revisions of this thing because I wanted to make sure that the jigs are easy to design, right? They're all on 10 millimeter centers, and you can very quickly make something that holds the piece you're trying to make. And all of the ones that I've made, you can just kind of stack them together. They all fit tight together on the mat, so that if you want a jig for 1 or a jig for 10, you can put it together really quickly. So anyway, that's one thing I've been up to for the last little while. It's been keeping me busier than I thought a retired guy would be doing. But
yeah, no, that's cool. I definitely, man, I love jigs. Skylar said, I received my CNC. I have about 150 questions in a week.
Awesome.
Remember, Dewey's followed up with, Skylar's got a CNC?
Yeah, we're finally going to get some CNC videos.
Yeah.
I got a whole bunch of CNC jobs to do, and I have no time. Like, I haven't turned my CNC on for probably a month and a half. And it's just like, come on, I got these things stacking up, right? And
yeah,
every time I turn around, somebody's tempting me with a new piece of technology, and it's like, okay, send me one.
Yeah. When the Bears were rocking, I got so deep into the 3D printing, right? Like, it was like, that was like my primary focus, and I was learning everything. So I think once you have the ability, when you get a new piece of equipment, I think you kind of reshift your focus, right? Because you're learning, right? And it kind of like takes your eyes off other things. But I think that once you get really familiar with all the equipment in your shop, the big advantage is that, you're not just 3D printing, you're not just CNCing, you're not just laser engraving. You're comfortable enough that you could be multitasking with a CNC, a laser engraver. And then on top of that, what we always say is like having one is like having none. As you start getting multiple lasers and you start purposing them, like this is only for coasters, this is only for that, because of jigs and things like that, that's going to make just, things, that's where I'm starting to get at in my shop. And that's a whole lot of an easier feeling than having to always reset things up.
I've been still planning. Actually, I have the outline for the video ready. I just need to find time to do it. Focused, because like when I'm building something in my shop, it's never just, that's a 3D printing job or that's a laser job. I'll use a bunch of tools, and it's I wanted to create this video to message the fact that you can't just use one tool, right? Like everything is not a nail if you have a hammer, right? So I've been meaning to kind of build maybe a playlist on how to do multi-tool jobs. Like here's a project. It's not a laser engraving project. It's a project that uses a bunch of tools, and it's coming. Someday it's coming. My wife's going. She's traveling in a few weeks, so I'll have a week of time where I can focus on some of these things. The honeydew jar will be shut at that point,
or not, because she'll expect to be done when you get back.
Oh, she can say that, but when she gets
she's
back,
not there to bully you to do it.
Yeah, when she gets back, she'll only be upset for a day. So,
Thanos Living Graven said, "I'll be the one up." I'm sorry, I may be one of the few that is able to not get into a specific niche, for at least for now. The tourists around my area to keep things abroad. Therefore, yeah. See, but so we talked about this once before at Thanos Living Graven. He lives in a very touristy area. So people are going there, so he's marketing to them. Besides his side hustle in itself as being Santa, right?
Yeah.
And Christmas-related things. And I do know that people, what is it, Christmas in July, or what is that? I forget what month it is people do that. It's like a friend
Christmas in July.
Yeah. So I get that. When you are in a touristy area like Florida or a beachy area, there's definitely and to me that is a niche.
Yeah.
Because I can tell that here.
Yeah, and I think when you talk about you have to find a niche. It's not necessarily what you need to make, right? It's your target is really your niche, right? And your target, if it's tourists,
that's your niche.
You can make a lot of different things that appeal to tourists, right?
Right.
So yeah, I mean, I don't have a niche. My niche is custom stuff, right? And it could be anything, but it's always focused on customers who want something custom. And
I'll make anything, but my niche is memorial stuff.
Yeah.
And I definitely undercharge. I could definitely charge more. But I because this is not my full-time gig, I have a full-time, it is a side hustle. I would be in a different perspective if this was my full-time job, right? And this was how I provided for my family. But to me, just like it's so rewarding, the things that I make and give people. It's like insane. Speaking of Skylar, she made me this cross for my mother-in-law, and then I asked her to make me a second one. And I gave it to my best friend because her husband passed away. Skylar sent it to me a long time ago, but I just gave it to her, and man, they were blown away. It's just, memorial stuff there's definitely a lot of emotional attachment to it, right?
Yeah.
Speaking of Skylar.
Skylar says the We Create UV laser is really good, and alignment to the center. To center the design is the best. Yeah, they keep badgering me about that laser, and I keep looking at it, and then I go, I don't have time. Like, I'm so committed to stuff now, out past June, and I'd like to try it, but yeah, I know the couple of people I've talked to said they really like that laser.
Sensler Grade said yes. Years of having to keep clean shave. Had been Santa from Fake Beards, retired and came out just like Tim Allen's Santa Claus movie. Very cool.
He just turned into Santa Claus overnight.
That beard, man,
it's impressive.
Yes.
Like, definitely. He doesn't have to call himself Santa. When I see pictures of him, when he posts pictures, it's like, yeah, he's Santa.
So, not that I'm Facebook stalking him, but we are Facebook friends. So I've seen plenty of pictures of him post of himself. But yesterday, I actually joined his YouTube live, and he was testing stuff. And speaking of, he is going to be a guest on our podcast. But I was actually able to really see him. That that beard and his mustache is very impressive. Okay, yeah.
There's only two jobs for him. He can be Santa Claus or he can be a member of ZZ Top, right? Like
There you go. Yep. Can he play guitar or the drums? I don't know. Maybe the sax. Yeah. All right, Steve, you're up.
Kevin says the X-Tool metal fab looks pretty good. Does it only work on metal or can it be used for other materials? I would say metal only. I mean, it's a fiber laser, so in theory it could work with other things, but even fiber lasers in general are more metal focused. It is like what impresses me is just the build quality of the thing is just like it's so not the $500 Chinese laser, right? Like this thing is really impressive. And even my brother who thinks everything is the $500 Chinese laser looked at this thing and he said, "Oh, this thing looks really nice," because I was cutting numbers for, and he said, "Is this built in the U.S.?" I said, "No, this is built in China." He said, "Wow." He said, "They've come a long way." I said, "Yeah, this thing is really impressive." And I did actually. So in the handle, like in the pistol grip, there's a couple of optics in there that are really designed to prevent back reflections from frying the fiber. And I actually cooked one of those last week. I don't know how. It just happened. And all of a sudden, it's like, why can't this laser cut a piece of tinfoil? Like there's something wrong, right? And I popped it out, and it's like, oh yeah. I mean, these things are consumable. I actually have like a box full of these things they sent me, and I wasn't expecting to use one so quickly. But
Radu has a good question, and I struggled with this with Etsy, and this is why, like apparel, I kind of stayed away, and I struggled with Etsy because Etsy wants you to have these high resolution good photos, and the problem is it's so easy to steal someone's artwork. So Radu is asking, when selling either digital or physical products in Etsy or Bamboo, is there any way other than marker sites, is there any way to safeguard your ideas? First off, the idea itself or the concept, if it's good, someone's going to copy it, hands down. It's going to happen, right? But the only way that you can really actually protect your digital product is rather than have a image that you're showing, this is what it is, actually do the work. Because I've seen a lot of people to do is like, this is what they're engraving on, and it's a video doing this. So guess what? You do see it. But now you can't steal my artwork because it's on an angle this way, it's on an angle this way, it's on an angle, right? Or they're showing the product it's nicely placed. So if it's a stovetop thing, it's on a stove, and you see the engraving, but it's not just the artwork. Because if someone can right click save and steal your artwork, that sucks. Is everybody going to do it? No. But if your goal is to safeguard your artwork or your digital product, if you're willing to go the extra step and actually make it. And the other thing is that if you actually make it, you can also say that your digital files engraves well. So if somebody has an issue with it, hey, it might be a setting issue or something because you tested the file. Selling a file you haven't tested is probably not a good idea either.
Yeah, and when I don't, I'm really trying to get away from Etsy, but when I do digital stuff, if I put a screenshot of the actual digital thing in there, and maybe I shouldn't say this, but I actually edit the file and put all kinds of errors in it so that if you just like blow the thing up and say, I'm going to make one of these, it's not going to fit together. Like it's just not going to work.
You make the dummy file. There you go.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's just me being an ass, but at the end of the day, you don't want to post something and just have somebody say, "Oh, screw, I'm not paying your $2. I'm going to go and just copy it." Right. But then you run into the other situation where, certainly it applies to me, but it applies to a lot of people who work in design. They can look at something and go, yeah, I can make that, right? And within 20 minutes, I can have a fresh design from scratch. I try not to do that, but I could if I wanted to.
Right. And at the end of the day, if they are recreating their own interpretation or version of your artwork, they're not necessarily stealing your artwork. They're maybe stealing your idea. But if you have a good idea, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to do it.
Yeah,
So,
artwork. So, having spent a lot of time in the legal side of technology, artwork is different, managed differently than a design, right? Like artwork is art, which means it can be copywritten, but you can't trademark it or patent it. But a design can be patented, right? Where you do something unique and you go, okay, there's a patent on this. And if you steal it, I'm going to sue you, right? Even if you redesign it from scratch, if it does what my patent says it does, I'll sue you. Now, most makers don't have the 25 grand to patent something every time they do something cool, but
yeah,
it's
yeah,
they're protected in different ways, right? Like art. I mean, from the t-shirt business, if you put a t-shirt design up there, it's a matter of hours before you see one walking down the street, right?
Yes.
Designs are a little bit different.
So, funny story about a t-shirt. I'm pulling into a liquor store. There's this gangster-looking Mexican dude coming out. And I'm looking at a shirt. And I must have had a smirk on my face because it's my shirt, right? And he says to me, "What the hell are you looking at?" And I said, "Your shirt." And I said, "That's my shirt." He says, "What do you mean it's your shirt?" I says, "Well, unless someone copied me, which could have happened, I'm pretty sure I made that. I don't know who you are." And I says, "Well, maybe you don't know, but there's like 5 places that sell my apparel. Did you buy it from this place?" And he was like, and it was the first place I mentioned. And he was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Oh, yeah, cool, man. That is my shirt." He's like, "Oh, all right, man. I like it." I really like it, But I almost got in a fist fight because the guy thought I was mean mugging him. And it was first time ever seeing someone in my town, actually a town over, wearing my own shirt. And that was kind of cool, actually, to see that. But yeah, but I wouldn't be surprised if someone copied it, right? Right now, man, the large format DTF printers are so cheap, which was probably like 35,000, 45,000 for a decent one. It's like 12 to 13,000 right now. So these high-end ones that they're trying to be like 50 grand, man, they're going to struggle being competitive because that $13,000 printer now is rocking.
Yeah, same with UV printers, right? Like they used to have $20,000-$30,000 UV printers, but now now you can get a $2,000 or $3,000 UV printer that uses the same print head.
Yeah.
Right? And yeah, maybe some of the operation drivetrain of the thing might be different or smaller workspace or something, but hey, the main technology there is exactly the same.
Yes. So it's crazy. Do you want to answer this, Steve?
Oh, sorry. The did OmniX ever get in a fight with the F2 UV? I see them side by side. Oh, okay. I thought he was headed down some legal route here, but no, I use them for different things. If I need the extra power, which basically means if I want to do something fast, I'll use the OmniX. But by far, I like Xtool Studio way better than the design tool that the OmniX uses.
So I want to make sure that highlight something that I think that when people start using software, they get stuck in blinders with certain direction because habit forming, right? They're familiar with their software and they don't want to go outside of their comfort zone and try something new. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because that's not the case with you. Like you are very familiar with LightBurn. So by you liking the Xtool software versus over the LightBurn, it's not necessarily because you were crippled on knowing one way. It's just that you see benefits in the software itself.
Yeah, and I mean, it was probably 18 months ago when I saw the first version of Xtool Studio, Xtool Creatives, whatever it was called, XCS. I hated it, and I thought, man, you guys are so wrong for deviating from LightBurn. But it took a couple of months before it started doing things, And now what I like most about Xtool Studio is what I dislike most about LightBurn. Xtool Studio runs everywhere, right? So I can have an Xtool F2, nice little laser, right? And I can take it to a craft market and run Xtool Studio. I can do a design there and go, this would look nice on metal, and I can bring it back and put it on my metal fab and cut it out in steel. Right? Same software. Like literally, I change the device and say, go. And that, to me, from a business perspective, that makes so much sense.
The backward compliance.
Yeah. Now, contrast that with LightBurn, which is dragging its feet on every update for any laser enhancement out there, which is the whole reason Xtool Studio exists in the first place. Xtool wanted to expand features, and LightBurn wouldn't support them.
Yeah, so I think the biggest problem is that, like, you know, LightBurn took on a lot, right? They wanted to be like the laser platform, right? And it was different when there was like 5 like main guys, and the little guys are like, you know. But now there's a lot of different manufacturers.
Yeah, well, yeah, the advantage, we'll say the gap that allowed LightBurn to start in the first place was you had all of these hobby lasers out there. And I mean, back in the early days, a diode laser was like an experiment, right? Like they were really hacky, and there was no software for them. You had to build your own. So LightBurn kind of came in and said, hey, we'll unify all of this, right? All these cheap lasers, they'll all run the same software. And that was great. But they kind of cornered themselves. And you know, for a while they kept up, but all of a sudden it's like, well, I want to support contoured focus. Well, Xtool or LightBurn doesn't support that, right? And they don't really have a way to support it without a major rewrite, and that's not cost effective for them.
So they created the standard for sure, and that's cool because it made it a standard as a whole. But then as each laser manufacturer come out with additional bells and whistles, that require them to be able to capture that within their software itself. And, you know, that may be something that they not would want to go down without some type of compensation from the manufacturer themselves, right? But the manufacturer's like, we're not going to do that. We'll just come up with our own.
Well, yeah, not every company could do that, but but LightBurn in the early days of Xtool, right? Xtool's been around for, I think, 7 years. So in the early days, they had the Xtool D1. Yeah, decent little diode laser. And they said it supports LightBurn. But when you look at what it was doing, it had this little shell on top of their own software that did translation between LightBurn and Xtool's APIs.
A G-code translation?
Like you couldn't use LightBurn calibration to calibrate an Xtool D1. You could for one session. As soon as you turned it off, that was it. It went back to normal, right? Because all of the LightBurn-ness of the Xtool D1 was all virtualized. Like it was just a translation layer to get between LightBurn and what they were using internally. And then it came to the point where LightBurn wouldn't do these enhancements for Xtool, or wouldn't allow Xtool to plug things in. And LightBurn said nope, and Xtool said fine, we're going to just put a team behind this and we're going to start building our own. And now everybody's doing it, right?
Yeah, but
longer alien cell, you know. Yeah,
the big houses.
But Alien Cell's not a big house. Alien Cell's a small company.
Yeah, they
just build a nice laser.
Yeah. Tim said, you need a helper, Steve. I'll email you my resume. So Skylar's asking, do you have it handy?
Oh, yes, I did get my plaque, Skylar. Would you like to see it? It's just silver plaque, just like everybody else's.
She's asking, man. Let's go. It's brag time.
Okay. It's
brag time, Steve.
It just makes me feel weird.
Nice. We need like the Vanna White music playing when he goes up and
Yeah, maybe I can flip it like Vanna White does. Anyway, yeah, it was you know, a momentous occasion. It's one more thing checked off my bucket list.
Radu said I was talking more about 3D printing items, not really artwork for engraving. This would take a lot of work to copy, not just a picture. Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, you might think that. Yeah,
the software now, yeah, you can import the picture and still export a
yeah,
STL.
but a good 3D designer will look at something. Oh yeah, I can build that in 10 minutes. And if you don't believe me, send me a picture and I'll build something.
So Radu, I would say if you are opposed to 3D printing your own file, then I would say you're going down the wrong road. And the only reason I'm saying that not is because you should test your own file. So that if anyone has a problem, you know, hey, this is not an issue with my file. This is an issue when you're setting something you're doing wrong. So since you tested your own file, use that print in your you know, Etsy or whatever listing, instead of just the image itself of, you know, what it is. That's
now 3D printed designs are kind of a special case on Etsy, because you can sell the design, which I personally wouldn't do for a 3D design, but you could sell the design to somebody and they could make one, but then they couldn't subsequently make 50 of them and put them up on Etsy for sale.
So I still see people doing it.
It still happens, but Etsy's been cleansing their system of those things pretty quickly.
Yeah, so you're not supposed to be able to sell somebody else's file. Like if you are selling a 3D printed something, you're supposed to have created the original artwork. That's supposed to be your file.
Yeah. And Etsy is checking them, right? Like if it's a 3D print that you're selling, they want you to confirm that it's your design. And if you say yes and it isn't your design, well, yeah, bad things can happen at that point, right? Because you're basically both lying and breaking the law. They'll be banned. Yeah, you'll be banned in a second. So I mean, it still happens, but it's been greatly reduced. And I mean, it's sadly, when they put this policy in place, people who were selling 3D prints that they didn't design were complaining about it. It's so you're stealing someone else's design, right?
Right. I think the biggest problem is this, that like Etsy was originally designed as a maker's place, right? Like it was like the home-based business. I mean, that's what it was. It was like support your fellow makers, right? That's what it really was. And then it became China, right? And let's be honest, we can't compete with them, right? They're bigger, better, faster, right? I mean, you have a little laser, diode laser, you're trying to make something out. And they have a commercial laser. You know, you have a bamboo lab printer. You think you're doing something. They have a commercial, like they have commercialized that. You can't compete with them. And then let's be honest too, the labor is like way cheaper. So that's not what Etsy was about. I mean, originally, right? And so the makers were like, come on, man. Like, so Etsy did clean house and has been changing that. And I even saw when they started that, then there were still foreign sellers saying shipping out of California, and they weren't. You know, they still were a base company. So I think they're even coming down harder on that. So we'll see how it all shakes out. But at least they're trying to make, you know, a reform back to, you know, what their original intentions were. Because I think that's what people want.
Yeah, I think. Well, I don't know. I mean, I'm getting away from Etsy, but I think that's where their sweet spot was, and they kind of lost control of what was happening on their own platform. And I think they're trying to take it back now. It's a tough fight, but yeah, it's, you know, I think one of the things they need to do better at is verify, like when you say, hey, this was made in some particular area or some country, there needs to be a way to verify that that's actually the case. Because I've seen people on Etsy making things that I make with a CNC, and I make them here out of, you know, Canadian maple or whatever, right? And then I see one almost exactly the same on Etsy, and it says made in the USA. And I look at it and go, okay, it's made of bamboo. There's no way this was made in the USA, right? You can't go to a wood store and buy a bamboo log to make this thing, right? So,
Right.
So, I mean, they're just, first of all, they stole an idea, but they're also lying about where it's made.
Yes. You know, and I think, like, if you were to buy a gift for your father-in-law, your father, your loved one, and the whole idea is being a handmade, crafted gift is what makes it special, right? When it comes from China, it's no different. You walk in Walmart. That's my, well, that's just
sure. Yeah, it's
and
I mean, it's 3D printing stuff, especially, right? Like, I mean, like when Creality sent me this M1 filament extruder, and now I have the R1. Both of them are prototypes. All of the plastic parts on them are 3D printed, and I'm looking at them going, Creality doesn't have a printer that can print these things, right? So they're industrial 3D printed, and I mean they look fantastic, but it's like, yeah, you didn't print it in Creality. You've outsourced it to somebody else too.
Zincentro said the only real means of protection against copy theft is filing DMCA takedowns on platforms that have to comply.
Yeah, the DMCA only applies in the US though. Now in Europe, there's a different one that's even more strict.
And China don't care. China will copy anyway.
And yeah, well, that's the thing, right? You have to be trying to sue someone who lives in a country that honors trademarks and patents and things. And China doesn't. It's just how they are, right? And they're getting better, though. They are actually starting to file patents and things. So, they are starting to appreciate intellectual property. But
we say all the time, you don't want to be in the race to the bottom. And I think China is the race to the bottom.
Well, depends. So, yes, that's where the $500 or $200 laser came from, right? But they have this weird chameleon type persona, right? They make high-end stuff and they make low-end stuff.
Yeah. And no, what I meant by that though, Steve, is that I get that. I saw this whole video. It was funny. This guy who's an importer from China, and he said, people want to make the impression that anything from China is junk, right? And he said, no, what you're buying is junk. And what that means is, if you said, hey, I want you to manufacture this laser, and here are my specs, you can spec it out a piece of crap. You can spec it out. So at the end of the day, people are cutting corners to make their profit higher. So it's not that the Chinese factory is not capable of producing a higher end product. It's what they told them to build, right? So
so keep, as always, follow the money, right? So China builds what some Western conglomerate company says they want, and they want it as possible so that they can have the biggest margin. And so that's where that reputation came from, right? It wasn't just trying to make cheap stuff. It's because they were told to make something cheap. Exactly.
And what I meant by race to the bottom is, that China product that's imported, rebranded, and they're saying whatever. A company wants to start in Texas and say, hey, we're going to do this, even if they were importing the parts and assembling them in the States, so they're considered American made. There's just no way they can be competitive. Like, China's always going to beat them as far as the price.
Yeah, it's the labor is going to kill you every time, right? Now, scale that to the last big industry in North America, which is the auto industry, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And I mean, the American government's a little annoyed with Canada right now because we're going to allow some Chinese electric cars into the country. Those cars are going to be, $40,000, $35,000. And if they were made by Ford or GM or Chrysler or somebody, they would be twice that.
Yeah. See, this is exactly Skylar shared something. Exactly. Skylar said, I designed some wooden crosses. My video tutorial got a zillion views, right? Gave him the pattern away for free to my subscribers as a thank you. Now many website and people on Etsy are selling the plans.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
this is why you got to be careful selling plants. Like I've had people say, "Oh, can I have the design for this?" And it's like, if it's something I do specifically for my channel, right? Here's just this little design, go make it. I usually say, hey, become a member, right? Become a member of the channel, and then you get it for free anyway. But if it's something I make, it's like, yeah, no, this is like the form I designed and 3D printed to make these rubber mats that I showed you earlier. Somebody asked me for that, and it's like, ordinarily I'd go, yeah, take it, like I don't care, but I make these, right? And
right.
that's like giving somebody the blocks of metal that have the dollar bills engraved in them, right? And you can mint your own.
Yeah, I was surprised, Scott, that you did that because you sold a ton of them, and I was surprised because you were creating your own direct competition. But I was surprised that you did that. But I know at some point, like maybe you get burnt out, like you sell a million of these crosses, you're like, I'm done making these crosses, kind of deal. Like I want to try something else. I'm just creatively done doing this. I get that, but
however, Skylar, one thing I'll ask is, did you have a license on the files you shared?
No,
because if you just posted them up there without a license,
free download,
it's basically public domain, right? And like anything I post, anything I put up on Etsy, any digital file, I say you can make this for yourself or your family, but you can't sell these things.
Yeah, so perfect example of that. Skylar made some pretty cool looking Santa Claus. Was like 3D. And I asked her for the file, and she was making on a laser. She sent to me, and I made it on the CNC, right? And I made it in 5 seconds. But I didn't sell that. Yeah. I made that for myself. Matter of fact, I didn't even post it because it's not my file. Like, she gave it to me, and that was for me. I used it in my house for Christmas decorations. But you didn't see me share it on Facebook. Like, post it.
No, you only share your address. You don't share a design.
All I'm saying is, I'll give you my address. Just
hold on. Before you go to Tim's comment, I need to go back to the last comment that Prism had here, which he said that Steve has influenced him. His first laser engraver is going to be an X tool.
Even though he's not an influencer, he's a YouTuber.
So I'm not an influencer. I tell you as truthfully as I possibly can. Like if somebody says, "What laser do you use?" You can see them back here, right? There's like 4 of these 5 lasers back here are X tools.
It's like I'm a Milwaukee guy.
Yeah, well, I don't have a wall to hang all my lasers on, but
I'm joking.
But if that influences you, okay. If you are going to buy an X tool, however, look for this in one of my videos and get the affiliate code. At least I can feel influencing at that point.
You know what, Steve? You should just do you have a list of all them?
Of all my lasers, my
affiliate links.
All my
affiliate links.
Oh, probably somewhere.
You should just post it in the group and pin it.
Well, I could. That seems like a lot of work for me, actually.
Like on my website, I have an affiliate link, and just
I saw it on your website. And I thought, that's probably a good idea. I should do that.
Yeah, but on my website, I have it. Like if you're gonna go here anyways.
But see, this is how I'm not an influencer, because you've seen them. I won't name names, but you've seen people go, "Oh, I mentioned this. Here's an affiliate link. Oh, now I want to talk about this. Here's an affiliate link." It's I got them. If you want to buy something, great. If you use my affiliate link, fantastic. But if you don't, I'm sad, but I'm not gonna dislike you because you didn't. I honestly don't know if you'd use it or not.
When I first started making video, I felt awkward saying it, and I felt awkward including it. And when I saw everyone was doing it, I was like, "Why do I feel awkward about this? Like I shouldn't, But at first, I felt awkward about
it. From firsthand that YouTube itself pays crap, right?
Yes.
You do a whole lot of work, and the real benefit is not, YouTube, paying you, however many
Yeah.
dollars they
No.
pay you. It's not much.
No.
And the thing is, even if you go from like when I had 1,000 subscribers, 2,000 say, I was making almost the same amount that I'm making now with 102,000. It's like YouTube is this weird place, but where you actually, where the value of doing those videos for you as a YouTuber is, you're a salesman. That's the reality, right? And if that's where you're, if you live and die on YouTube, that's how you make your money.
So do you hire any kind of marketing company, or do everything yourself? Like I do everything myself.
Yeah, I do everything myself.
Yeah.
I've been tempted more than once to hire an editor for videos, but the problem is, by the time I'm done recording a video, it takes me no time at all to put it together.
Yeah, I made fun of Clack and said he had to have an editor because it was crazy when he was putting out like back to back to back to back, like, and he was like, I do not have an editor. I was like, how the hell do you do this?
Well, he doesn't have to do multiple takes, right? Like I did something today. I was working on a video, and I must have done 20 takes on it before I finally got something I was happy with. Because it was like, oh, I forgot to say this, or I need to say that. And, it's just, we all have our own workflows. But the thing is, by the time I'm done, so I do all the A-roll stuff first, and then I go, okay, here I need B-roll, and then I go shoot a bunch of B-roll, which takes generally another day in the shop. And by then everything's basically put together at that point. So I don't really need an editor. What I need is a minion in the shop to do all the B-roll for me.
Yeah. Yeah, no, but you definitely hit it, because I remember when we were watching it, Roger and I are always like neck and neck. And then like in a couple of months, you had like 40,000 like Blu-ray past us. And
this is so something changed in the YouTube algorithm about last July. And there were a lot of people who went down, and there were people who went up. And I guess I was on the lucky end of that, because all of a sudden, like, people were going, oh, I'm getting much fewer views on YouTube, and people are dropping off. And I'm looking at it going, okay, in July I had 36,000, and by November I had 80,000.
Right. But there's a big difference too in Canada versus United States as far as the laws and even the way you're paid. Like I know we're talking like we don't always share dollars and cents, but the RPM, what is it?
CPM.
I'm having a dyslexic moment.
Oh no, CPM is the cost. RPM is the revenue.
Yeah.
RPM is a little higher here. It used to be a lot higher. When I made Andy unhappy because his RPM
I remember that.
It's kind of equalized now.
He got very mad, actually.
It's not like it used to be. Like I said, I mean, back when I had a couple thousand subscribers, I was making lots of money. Now that I have 102,000, I'm making the same money because the RPM was going down.
So the one thing I'm on a YouTube advisory board, right? Like I'm just being honest, they pay me like probably a couple $100 a month to just like do these one-on-one videos with them and then answer some questionnaires, and part of the way the algorithm's changing is it's crazy, is that like all the old things that were always there, right? Like are your own viewers watching your content, right? But the biggest problem I think that I have is I tend to promote my own content, right? So a lot of your views are from new viewers. But if I go to every single laser group on Facebook and I post this video, they're gonna watch it. I'm not saying to watch the whole thing, but at some point in time, there's a good chance they may click on and watch some portion of it, right? But unless people have that notification bell on your Facebook, then maybe your current subscribers aren't watching as much. So that actually hurts you. So even though like, hey, I got 5.7 million views, so your views are high, but your own content, your own subscribers are not watching as much. You're getting more of an influx on new people. That actually hurts you.
And this was, I think this was one of the changes that they made in the algorithm back in July. And they've tweaked it a few times since then. But what it basically means is like all these, you know, this advice that these YouTube growth people do videos on, a lot of that doesn't apply anymore, right?
Yep.
Like you know, like subscriptions back in the early days, subscriptions were everything. That's how they measured the success of your channel. Now subscriptions are just something I wake up in the morning and go, 102,000, right? It's fantastic. Means nothing to the YouTube algorithm anymore. Same with keywords and well, tags, not keywords. And then they said, you know, then some of the YouTube, you know, quote unquote experts kind of got a grip on it and said, okay, now it's all about watch time and views. But the algorithm isn't like that, right? So the biggest mistake people make is they say, well, the algorithm is designed to send your video to people. And that's completely backwards, right? It's the algorithm is designed to have people find you. And like, it's about getting people to watch your video, not the other way around. Like they're not sending your video out to people. They put your video there and then they try and find people they think it will apply to. And that's the big change recently. And that's why a lot of views dropped. And like, and the other thing that happened was they're getting much smarter about some of the AI stuff and duplication. So if I do a video on whatever, and then you go, that's a great idea, I'm going to do that video. And this was what these YouTube people used to say, right? Just copy find some, you know, hot video from a big YouTuber and just make that video again, or steal their thumbnails. And now if you use something that looks like somebody else's thumbnail, you'll get shadow banned instantly.
Yeah. So if you do a deep dive and you look at your own analytics, you'll see like 106,000 impressions, right? 30,000 views. So if they showed that to 106,000 people, only 30,000, that's hurting you. You know, so you want that click-through ratio to be higher. So what I've really been concentrating on is my click-through ratio. That has been my target. Like everything has been shifting. I want that click. You know, I want it like in the 10%, you know. If I'm like 3 and 6, I'm like,
and
okay,
I've managed to get mine up to around 10% for the most part. Sometimes it's higher, sometimes it's lower, but it's usually around 10. But the way, like, you got to think about how that click through is measured, right? First of all, you have to get somebody to see your thumbnail and go, this looks interesting. Then they read your title and go, yeah, this is cool, I'm going to click on it.
Right.
Nothing in there is about the content of your video, right? And so that's why they're kind of de-emphasizing click-through rate too now, right? Because just because you watch it or it makes you click on it doesn't mean you're going to watch the whole thing. And like, if you look at shorts in particular, this is where they kind of started a lot of this stuff. They have people who clicked on it or just stopped while scrolling and watched it a bit. And then there's the dedicated viewer who watched the entire thing, right? Or maybe watched it twice. And they measured those two differently.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's some of the things that they're asking on that advisor. Like, what are our thoughts on that? And is that the right approach? And is that the right way? You know, I think it's cool that the YouTube just doesn't make knee-jerk reactions. Like, they're asking, like, what are our opinions on that? And is that the right direction? So I think that's really cool that YouTube does that. It's not always, and the biggest thing I see right now, YouTubers complaining on YouTube itself, is that, hey, my RPM just tanked.
Yeah.
And they're like pennies.
But keep in mind that in spite of what all of our collective governments say that the economy is doing wonderfully, the economy is hurting. When the first thing that the casualty of that is people stop advertising.
Yeah.
And that means your RPM is going to drop, right? Because they don't want to advertise, or when your video goes up for auction on the ad network, people are paying less for it.
So I'm going to do a spoiler on a video I have dropping soon, but if you do have a very low RPM and you want a cheat sheet way of increasing it, post ads. Go on YouTube and post $10, $15 on something. And the reason that I'm saying that, it's minimal. You're not going to get 100,000 views with $10. But the point is, when you're putting YouTube's money where their mouth is, when they're getting paid to put you in front of someone, they're going to make sure it's the right people, because they're getting paid every time that click comes through.
But you see, if you look, there's lots of videos from these YouTube experts, supposed experts, who say never advertise on YouTube, right? Because it's going to kill, your video. So
watch your RPM go up, way up, from like cents to way up. I've had videos at $1,126 RPM. They were like 8 cents, and I'm like, why did this drop to 8 cents? And I put a $50 YouTube campaign. I went up to $1,100. So what does that mean? Like, I didn't change
anything. To advertise, same old adage as in the real world, right?
I changed nothing in the video. I changed nothing in the description, but all of a sudden I'm but yeah, so it's just something to think about, and like I said, I'm not telling anyone to spend money and wishful thinking they're going to make millions of dollars. But if you have certain videos that your channel's geared towards, and you're trying to make money off the content of views, and you're just making pennies, then just put the money back in it. Maybe YouTube's paying you $75 this month, put all $75 right back into YouTube. Throw a couple ads here and there on your main niche channels, and watch that go up.
Yeah, and I mean, if you look at how the real world works, typical company will put up to 5% of their revenue back into marketing, right? And that's basically what you have to think about. You, as a YouTuber, you're a business. Yeah. And if you have to advertise, you advertise, right? That's just the cost of doing business. I mean, people do it on Etsy all the time, right? People advertise their listings. That's all you're doing 100%. On YouTube if you advertise too.
Just a few comments here. I just want to catch up before we drop off. But Scott said, I never use LightBurn anymore unless I have to. X2 Studio is my favorite. Yeah. That being said, I designed my files in Inkscape.
Yeah. Now, interestingly, it wasn't that long ago that a lot of the tree, the hugging that last tree in the forest around LightBurn would say, oh, Xtool is no good. It's unstable. It's this, it's that. It's hard to find people who now don't think Xtool Studio is better than LightBurn for a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Already said I print and use my own products. A lot of others have the same laser. I'm sorry. I printed, I'm using my product. A lot others have same laser that is upgraded is for. I know it works. I know it's mine. I want to optimize stuff. Oh, well, if you have a print proven product, that was fine. I was just saying by printing your own product, you have a print proven product, right? You know that there's not an issue with the file. But I would say you're saying that a lot of my files, you're going to constantly create new files. So at some point in time, you should at least attempt once your file.
Yeah, but if this is a product that you have, don't sell the design, sell the product.
Correct. If that's your bread and butter and you're selling that to make money, I'm sorry, Skylar. Don't pull a Skylar move and give out your bread and butter to somebody else who's going to beat you at your own game. Yeah, that's all I'm saying. Yeah.
Hey, Vilf. What machine am I most excited about?
I think I know the answer to that.
Oh, the metal fab. Yeah, almost forgot.
Yeah.
It is sweet. I actually got some buffer gas this week. I got some argon, and I got my regulators hooked up. Now I haven't had time to cut anything with it, but.
So they're asking, Steve, if you have anything to sell.
Tim's asking if I have anything to sell. Well, if you can carry the metal fab out to your car, you can have it. but I know you're not going to be able to carry it because it
So,
weighs
funny thing-
600 pounds.
I saw a junkyard say that if you can carry it, you can have anything you can carry for $50, and they recorded it on YouTube. I swear they must have made more money on YouTube than they sold anything for, because the video had millions. I'm like 50, 60 million views of guys carrying axles, guys carrying engines, transmissions. Like, you know,
See, this is good. This is good marketing.
yeah, exactly. You know, you definitely knew who that was. So, let's see. Anything we should catch up here? Tim says think tanks. But Steve and I discussed earlier about this. Both have benefits. I thought I saw a leaked pics of the larger E1 cartridges today.
You might have. I've seen one.
You know,
unless you think you saw it in my shop, but you didn't.
Santa's Living Great said, Omtech, their UV printers are coming too. Yeah, I think everyone's going to have it. It's just going to be...
Everyone's going to have a UV printer. I can't, like I said, I got 4 of them coming sometime this year. Omtech isn't one of them yet, but
yeah,
it's like, and I mean, I was talking to Tim about this today, and you know, he said very swiftly that this thing has kind of taken over, right? Like nobody wants, you know, just laser engraved tumblers anymore. They all want color now, right?
Yeah.
So it's got a pretty big impact.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you're not going to find a $500 UV printer, that's for sure. But,
yeah. It comes with a price for sure.
Yeah.
But there's the old saying goes, you get what you pay for.
Yep.
Well, today went by super fast, man, and I'm glad we got to the bulk of all our questions. Appreciate everyone dropping in. Definitely seen some new names. Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah. Thanks for coming out if you're new.
And those, if you haven't already, like I said, please do join the Facebook group. Stevie, you want to say anything on the closeout?
I should have my my filament recycling video out this week. Hopefully, well, maybe tomorrow, but more likely over the weekend. But other than that, if you want to recycle filament, it's a good watch.
Yeah, Steve, drop that X-Tool affiliate link in the Facebook group.
Yeah, I'll put something up there. As you know, I'm the worst social media.
I know. I'm just saying, people are asking, so do it. If they're going to buy it, you might as well drop it.
Yeah,
I'm not
I'll post it up there. I should actually build a full list though of things. But...
Yep.
All right,
guys. Thanks for joining us. See you next week. And by the way, we'll have a special guest next week, so we'll do an announcement later this week.
I think you already revealed it, didn't you?
What'd you say?
I think you already revealed our special guest.
Did I?
I think so.
Oh, okay. Well, we got one coming up.
But you may not have noticed. Take care all.